What comes to mind when you think of dragons? I've got to admit to you, for me, my imagination on the subject has been profoundly molded by my 3 kids. One of the favorite books in our house is Dragons Love Tacos. One of our favorite movie series is How to Train Your Dragon. We've recently been reading C.S. Lewis's book, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, in which the Pevensies' cousin Eustace becomes a dragon. But ultimately, it's a dragon of the more helpful rather than dreadful variety. Thus, for the most part, when I think of dragons, they're generally friendly, if not a somewhat misunderstood creature. But obviously, that's not the biblical depiction. In Revelation 12, last time, John told us about a great sign appearing in heaven, a woman clothed with sun about to give birth. In verse 3, we're told, then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 crowns and 7 crowns on its heads. This is no misunderstood, helpful, taco-loving creature. This is terrifying. In fact, the word enormous is also the word for great in Greek. So remembering what I said last time, it's mega terrifying. Now, let me pause a moment to plug one of the absolute best resources today, and that's Bible Project. Just Google Bible Project, one word, and you'll find it. But if you've got only 4 minutes today, stop this devotional and check out their video on the Chaos Dragon. Like all they do, it's awesome. Now, if you got more time, finish this video, then check out their video and they'll answer all the things I've confused you on. Still here? Okay, we get our word dragon from the Greek draken. Now, outside of the book of Revelation, in Scripture, we don't often think of dragons, but they are more common in Scripture than you'd think. Now, you probably know this, but the Old Testament was written in Hebrew, not King James English for some of you. Sometime between the 3rd and 1st century, the Old Testament was translated into the Greek for use among the diaspora Jews. And we call that translation the Septuagint. Now, in the Septuagint, the word draken was used to translate the Hebrew word tanin. A tanin is not usually a flying, fire-breathing creature, as we often think of dragons. It's the word for sea monster. Now, if you're curious, the word Leviathan is used in Scripture for a specific type of tanin that sometimes does fly and potentially breathes fire. You can check that out in Job 48. Now, one of the surprising uses of tanin in the Old Testament is for evil kingdoms who oppose God's people. Ezekiel 29 states, I am against you, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, you great monster lying among your streams. You say the Nile belongs to me. I made it for myself. Pharaoh is described as a tanin, or if you're looking at the Greek translation, a draken. The prophet Jeremiah is similar. He says, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, has devoured us. He has thrown us into confusion. He has made us an empty jar. Like a serpent, he has swallowed us and filled his stomach with our delicacies, and then he spewed us out. Even the giant Goliath, who David faces in 1 Samuel, is described as wearing a suit of scale armor. As pointed out by Tim Mackey of the Bible Project, his description is intended to conjure in our minds the image of a draken. Now here's the point. Pharaoh, Babylon, Goliath, they opposed God and his people. How'd that work out for them? They're presented as dragons, and they were slain like dragons. Now that's got to be in the forefront of our minds as John begins to tell us about this mega dragon. We'll unpack some of the details next time. It's terrible, and yet we're expected to know and be informed by the story, to gain confidence in the story that this dragon will face the same fate as all that oppose God. Have a great week.